I'm Malcolm Hayworth. I'm with the Fig Tree. I serve as the Fig Tree's annual editor for the Community Resource Directory, and also for events like this serve as the Ecumenical and Interfaith Liaison. So I'd like to welcome you today to the Eastern Washington Legislative Conference with the theme, We Shall Overcome, Building the Beloved Community Today. So before I go through some of the program itself, I did just want to offer a brief, reflection on the theme this year. So the first part of it comes from, I think, what many of us, understand as the song that often is part of, a lot of social justice movements and rallies. But there is a, more interesting, source of that song that has roots in African American spiritual songs, and in the early 1900s, a pastor who versed a poem that started off, "We will overcome," or sorry, "I will overcome," and that transformed by the 1940s and 50s into "We will overcome" to "We shall overcome" through social activism of workers' movements and African American civil rights movement to where we come to today. Next up, we have Emily Clark, who will offer a commentary on land acknowledgement. Emily Clark is a professor of religious studies at Gonzaga University, currently serves as the director of Gonzaga Center for Teaching and Advising.
This church, where we are gathered this morning, resides on the unceded homelands of the Spokane tribal people. The people of the river today live on the reservation west of town, as well as throughout the region, serving as civic leaders, lawyers, historians, educators, artists, and more. The Spokane tribe views this land as sacred and are models of harmonious stewardship with the land. We show gratitude to the land, river, and peoples who have been fishing, hunting, harvesting, and gathering here for generations. May we learn from one another's stories so we may nurture the relationship of the people of the Spokane tribe and to all those who share this land. A land acknowledgement has no meaning unless it prompts change. It means recognizing our responsibility to Indigenous communities in our region to support their flourishing and that of this earth that sustains us all. Today's theme is We Shall Overcome, Building the Beloved Community Today. When I hear both these phrases, I think of another volatile period in American history, the Civil Rights Movement, during which activists of a variety of backgrounds, including the work of the American Indian Movement, openly addressed issues of injustice. To build a beloved community means an inclusive and pluralistic community. The beloved community was a key concept for Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. A line from the book of Amos comes to mind, and it's Dr. King's favorite line. Let justice roll down like waters, and righteousness like an ever-flowing stream. The Spokane people are a river people. We are grateful to be on this land for the people who stewarded it and ask for its support as we work to manifest our intentions during this gathering of hearts, minds, and spirits.
Next we will have Lorraine Wiley with the Salish School, and she is from the Arrow Lakes Band of the Colville Confederation.
Why lim lam tin chai squistin isitat kulkin hatuskal skletten soch chinsen mat mayetan talikin lim kuch ulus apanata sochal dulkin ala nasmanimplum. I'm Lorraine Wiley. I'm a former executive director and one of the founders of Salish School Spokane, and I'm really happy to be here with you today. I wanted to share a song. It's our way when we gather to sing. And it's a way of honoring each other, a way of honoring the work that will be done today. And this song is a song I learned from the elder Herman Edwards in the Spokane Valley in British Columbia. And it's a song that the elders created to help us to overcome, to help us recognize the power and the beauty that exists within us. The words say, because we are beautiful, because we are Salish people, because this is our land. And if you wouldn't mind standing, if you could, thank you.
Invite up those who are part of the Interfaith Music for Advocacy while they are getting.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jadrian Tarver, and I bring you greetings of light, joy, and love. In these times where life is dark, it is bleak, and it is cold, and it feels more like night than daylight. It feels more like winter than spring or summer. Remember that you are the light when darkness overtakes and overshadows. And so I would like to begin with a communal song, This Little Light of Mine, I'm Gonna Let It Shine. Right now it's a little cold in here, so hopefully we can warm it up. Make sure you pat your feet, clap your hands, rock a little bit, and sway if the Spirit allows you to do so. This Little Light of Mine was often sang during the Civil Rights Movement. It is a spiritual, a Black spiritual. So this morning, let's join in song with singing This Little Light of Mine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, everywhere I go. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. So hopefully your cold hands are warm now.
The old hymns gone? Well, they're still around, but here are a few that are being sung at the oldest church in town.
God make us agents of joyful rebellion, called to resist sullen empires of fear, fueled not by hatred but love for all people. We stand united, assured you are here.
That's God make us agents of joyful rebellion. Here's another one. When my soul is sore and troubled, when my mind is heavy burdened, then I cry, my God, my God. A couple of new hymns just from in our midst. A couple of new hymns from Ben Brody, who happens to be the head of the music department at Whitworth, and who happens to have written a couple of great hymn books that we're using at Westminster UCC. One more that I want to bring you, and this time a little more in its completion, because the new hymns which deal with the issues of our time and put them all together in really interesting ways. This one's called Gracious Gardener of Creation. And the first verse will simply deal with the idea of creation and how and what was created and by whom. The second puts the spotlight on us, and that way that what have we done with that creation? And yes, the third gives us a certain sense of a reconciliation. Keep the accompaniment a little down so that the words, you and I can really communicate these words.
Sounds good.
Here we go.
gracious gardener of creation, by your word the worlds were made, by your breath the winds awaken, by your plan the stars arrayed, as the Spirit summoned sunrise, stirred the seas and shaped the sands, so she scattered seeds of promise, sown in grace by loving hands. Yet, O God, how we have trampled through the garden of your grace. We have twisted your creation to a heartless marketplace. Even still, your Spirit tends us, bringing water, warmth, and light, raising up the vine and branches till the wrongs give way to right. See the fruit the Spirit nurtures, verdant virtuosity, love and patience, joy and kindness, peace and generosity, thankfulness to God and neighbor, gentleness and self-control. Gracious gardener, lend and guide us till creation is made whole. And we append, till creation is made whole. Thank you.
Well, Mary Stamp asked, and I didn't say no. She might have thought that I'd have something to say because I've been singing songs with young people around the campfire for 30-some years at Camp and Sitson. But what am I doing here? I'm going to try to carry the torch for a couple of minutes and then pass it on to you. As I tried to prepare for this, I tried to go to the well to learn from some of the giants, and I was lucky. A friend had just passed on a link to an interview with Joan Baez, one of my heroes as a young person, and I'm going to recommend the interview to you. Nicole Wallace interviewed Joan Baez in the September 22nd episode of her podcast, The Best People, so you can find it on YouTube. One of the first things that Joan said during their conversation was, social change cannot happen until somebody is willing to take a risk. So I suppose we should be pretty hopeful because there sure have been a lot of people taking risks. I feel like they're putting me to shame. I think she was talking about the Vietnam War era when she said it was the worst of times and it was the worst of times. But I don't think she would argue that these are not the worst of times too. She said, there's a lot of fear now. We self-censor. But she also said, the stars aligned and we had a movement. We had the glue. I don't know how you create it, she said. Well, I think that's one of the things we're doing here today, finding some glue. Part of the glue they had back then was Pete Seeger. Joan Baez said, the Petes of the world and the hundreds of thousands of people who protested and sang and marched and sat in and got arrested, that's why the war finally ended. It had nothing to do with the president. He didn't want it to end. That quote you can also find on YouTube. It's a 2007 PBS documentary called Pete Seeger, The Power of Song. I recommend it. You'll learn if you watch that when Bob Dylan and Joan Baez came on the scene, Pete Seeger had been at it for quite some time. It was in 1957 that Pete met Dr. King, and when Dr. King heard Pete sing, We Shall Overcome. Bob and Joan were young back then. Philip Labies is young right now. We heard about him from our daughter, and I think about Bob Dylan when I hear him sing. I'm going to take a little risk, and I'm going to sing one of his songs right now. And I'm going to tell you, I thought about bleeping this, but to honor Philip and the heartbreak and the frustration he portrays, I'm going to sing it word for word. I have a friend of a friend who shot themselves one day. I think most of us have somebody like that who's gone away. If she'd had time to think about it, maybe she'd be around. But you can get a gun in 20 minutes in this town. I was held up on a train by a kid about 14, ochre brown and terrified, holding a death machine. And if you think giving me a gun would have stopped the whole damn thing, you're trying to untangle things by adding extra string. It's a little bit the people who we've left outside to drown. It's a little bit the black rock rent that's never going down. It's a little bit the internet and the way we raise our sons. But mostly it's the guns. Yeah, it's the guns. I don't want to hear any argument that you pretend you believe, lest you'll say it to the mother who's still caught up in her grief. You've been willing to try nothing, your hands thrown in the air. God, I wish I could stop bullets with your thoughts and with your prayers. Did you know that laws are made up, and the Constitution too? You can change them when mass murder becomes the usual thing we do. I've never seen a group of tyrants so determined not to budge. Sorry we slowed your sails down with our bodies and our blood. It's a little bit the people who we've left outside to drown. It's a little bit the black rock rent that's never going down. It's a little bit the internet and the way we raise our sons. But mostly it's the guns. Yeah, it's the guns. So buy back every gun from police and people too. Change the Constitution if that's what you have to do. You made up this individual right to carry and feel strong. But the right for children to grow up is written in the stars. And the right to live in peace is one that's given out by God. And if you're out of line with that, you change the fucking laws. It's the guns. It's the guns. It's the guns.
Good morning. Congratulations to all of you getting up this early on a Saturday morning. Woo-hoo! The Spokane Raging Grannies are glad to be here with you as we build the beloved community now. We know community wins. My name is Janet Farnes. Some of you may not be familiar with the Raging Grannies. I'd call our group omni-religious, and we use humor and song to engage folks in new thinking. We are a global disorganization. Our local group has developed a statement about its identity and its intentions, and I'll read that for you now. Through song and humor, in the tradition of wise women elders, Spokane Raging Grannies raise awareness of human rights, gender equity, education, democracy, racial equality, environmental health, poverty, peace, and issue of the day. We keep step with current issues and participate in social action. It says all these things on our card. We thought about that a long time. We hope you'll join all of these wonderful musical voices this afternoon at 1 o'clock as we dive more deeply into the power of music to change minds. And for us, how the Grannies do what we do, how we activate ourselves and others. All of us will be sharing more songs this afternoon, and hope you'll sing along with us as we breathe and build community. It'll be 1 o'clock here in this sanctuary. A group of grannies is called a gaggle. And right now, we'd like to share a song entitled Gaggle Against Hate.